Welcome, Pio fans, to an action-packed episode of the SHU Sports Report. I'm Anthony Saccone.
And I'm Chris Carozzo. We had a lot happen in Sacred Heart Sports. Anthony, let's get things started off with women's volleyball.
Women's volleyball has been playing outstanding so far this season, and they added to that with a perfect weekend as they won both of their matches. First up, the Sacred Heart women's volleyball team faced off against Hartford this past Friday. Although Hartford came out strong taking the first set, Sacred Heart rebounded with back-to-back wins in sets 2 and 3. SHU would have to win the fourth set to end the match, but Hartford had other plans as they forced the fifth set. But in that fifth set, SHU jumped out to an early 4-0 lead, but then Hartford responded with 4 straight points of their own. The Pioneers would then go on to seal the match as they pulled ahead and took the final set 15-10. Redshirt junior Liesl Nellis had herself a day as she tallied 19 kills, 4 service aces, and 18 digs. The Pios then had a quick turnaround as they had a match the next day against Quinnipiac. The Pios picked up right where they left off the day before as SHU came out firing and took the first and second set against the Bobcats. Sacred Heart did drop the third set of the match, but took care of business in the fourth to seal the victory. Leading the way for the Pioneers was freshman Sarah Cishek with 8 kills and 38 assists, along with 3 digs. First-year Emma Smallcombe finished with a team-high 10 digs on the day. Sacred Heart women's volleyball is back in action this weekend as they head to Santa Barbara, California for the Thunderdome Classic, kicking off the weekend against Seton Hall tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Hopefully SHU can carry that 4-1 momentum into the weekend as they prep for next weekend's Hampton Inn by Hilton Shelton Invitational.
And another Sacred Heart team to start strong was SHU football. Chris, why don't you get us all caught up on their season opener?
Well, Anthony, the Pioneers did not upset as they hosted Lafayette in front of a packed house this Saturday. Pioneer football is back, and they started off the season the right way with a win. The Pioneers came out of the gates hot. After a defensive stop on the first drive, senior Eli Terry had a big 27-yard run, and the drive was concluded by an unbelievable catch by fifth-year Andrew O'Neill for a 10-yard touchdown. Lafayette would answer with a field goal, but it was all Pioneers from there. On the next Pioneer possession, O'Neill came up big again on a fourth down conversion on a 21-yard reception from fellow redshirt senior Kevin Duke. Terry was replaced due to injury, but his replacement first-year Julius Chestnut scored his first collegiate touchdown. And before the half, Duke connected with junior Kezio Snelling for a 6-yard touchdown to put the Pioneers up 21-3. The Pioneers didn't slow down at all in the second half. Senior Noah Provenzano made his first career interception and returned it 71 yards to the house for a touchdown. Again, Lafayette answered with just only a field goal. Chestnut had another touchdown in the fourth quarter, this time from 31 yards out. And that's how the game ended, with the Pioneers winning 35-6. Chestnut's 12 carries, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns tapped him NEC Rookie of the Week. The Pioneers now have won 6 consecutive season openers, and this win makes it their 7th straight home opening win. The Pioneers start a long road trip next week as they travel to Bucknell next Saturday. That game starts at 3 p.m.
And stay tuned because after the break, we have our very own Ryan Toohey with today's Update Corner.
Hello, Pile fans, and welcome to the first edition of the Update Corner for the 2018 through 19 season. I'm Ryan Toohey, and we're going to get things started with some field hockey action. After winning their first 2 games of the season during the final weekend of August, SHU had 3 games over the Labor Day weekend. Over the weekend, SHU went 2-1 as the Pioneers looked to rebound from their loss against Georgetown, and they did just that. On Sunday, they took on Towson University in what was a thriller. Both teams were neck and neck, and at the end of regulation, the game was tied at 2 apiece. At the 76-49 mark of the game, though, junior midfielder Bridget Kelly scored the game-winning goal, propelling the Pioneers to a 3-2 victory. On Labor Day, the team took on St. Francis U at Georgetown University. Thanks in part to goals from sophomore back Bridget Lauricia and junior midfielder McKenna Crawford, the Pioneers enjoyed their holiday trip to D.C. as they took the game 2-1. The field hockey team is now 4-1 on the season, and they look to improve that record this weekend as they host Albany and Villanova respectively at Johnson Field at Yale University. Now we'll throw on our spikes and singlets and join the men's and women's cross-country teams on their journey to the Stony Brook University season opener. The women's team took on Stony Brook, Fordham, Quinnipiac, St. Francis, and Hunter. Ultimately, it wasn't the team's best race as they finished in 4th place with 86 points, 57 points behind winner Fordham. Junior Jacqueline Thorne led the Pios, taking 11th individually with a time of 15 minutes and 16.8 seconds. Thorne was one of 5 Pios to finish in the top 25. The men's team also finished 4th overall in their portion of the Stony Brook season opener. It was senior Dane Kirchnevi who led the teams individually, taking 15th with a time of 19 minutes and 21.1 seconds. Kirchnevi topped last year's 6K time by 8.4 seconds, creating a new personal best. He, along with 2 other Pios, rounded out the top 25 of all finishers. Next up for both cross-country teams is the NASNY Invitational hosted by Bryan University in Rhode Island on Saturday. And we'll wrap things up with the men's golf team as they opened up their fall slate in Verona, New York for the Turning Stone Tiger Intercollegiate. The men's team landed in the middle of the pack, taking 9th overall out of 18 teams. Leading the way for the Pioneers was sophomore Saptak Talwar, tying for 13th with an overall 3 over par. Sacred Heart had 3 Pios, including Talwar, in the top half of the 100 individuals. Men's golf hits the road to Simsbury, Connecticut for the Ryan T. Lee Collegiate with the first round starting tomorrow. And that's all the time we have for the first update corner of the 18 through 19 season. I'm Ryan Toohey. After the commercial break, we have more Sacred Heart sports action coming your way.
Last but certainly not least, we have men's soccer rounding out the show.
That's right, Chris. Men's soccer was in the hunt this weekend for their first win of the 2018-19 season after UMass forced a double overtime tie last week. Men's soccer faced off against a very tough 3-win Manhattan Jaspers team this past Monday. It was a game of time and ball management for the Pioneers, but they did all they could to come away with the victory, edging out a 2-1 victory. The Pioneers jumped out to a 2-0 lead after first-year forward Segundo Navarro scored at the 37th minute mark, while senior Raynon Rapso tallied the second goal in the 40th minute. The Pios then had to hold the Jaspers off for 50 straight minutes, showing great management of the game. Junior goalkeeper Robert Strain made 4 total saves on the day, with 2 huge saves, both coming in the second half. Despite the heat, Sacred Heart allowed only 1 goal and took home their first victory of the 18-19 season. The Pios look to improve on their 1-1-1 record as they head to the city of brotherly love to face off against St. Joseph's this Saturday at 7 p.m.
That'll do it for today's show. Be sure to tune in next week for all of your Sacred Heart sports action, highlights, and more. From all of us here at the SHU Sports Report, I'm Chris Caiozzo.
And I'm Anthony Saccone. Thank you for watching.